Good afternoon, everybody. I hope my voice lasts out, but I have found the stand with the best boiled sweets. If anybody would like this number afterwards, just come and see me. My journey to using technology in education started nearly 50 years ago. I was a textile technologist responsible for the largest new weaving mill in the UK. I saw that the problem of assessing the performance of the 1,500 looms run by just 30 weavers on each shift depended not just on data, but much more on the data being analyzed in real time so that, and available to the mill manager, that was me, in a usable form. The cost of such a system was thought to be too high by the company I worked for. So I left and started a company to develop a system of that type. In 1971, we used one of the first mini computers imported into this country. And we also used Saturn rocket technology to reduce the wiring in the mill to develop a system. But the key to our success was understanding the need from the point of view of the user. And as mill manager, I was well placed for that. The first system, believe it or not, using just 16K of magnetic core memory, was installed in 1971 in a mill near Preston. And it gave the mill personnel real-time, analyzed information on the 250 looms in the mill. We've now moved on to producing real-time information in classrooms to help teachers and students improve learning. However, the same principles apply. It is the knowledge of the application and the ease of use that is the key. Some 30 years ago now, I took up the voluntary post as chair of the local Training and Enterprise Council. We were responsible for spending £20 million in today's money each year to improve the skills and knowledge of the 500,000 inhabitants in the area where I lived. First, it became clear that there was an urgent need for a more skilled and knowledgeable workforce, and that the starting point was in schools. Secondly, it also became clear that a great part of the potential of our young people was not being developed, nor is it being developed today. And thirdly, we realized that the greatest underutilized resource were the students themselves. As the world has moved on, these points remain the case, and it is more important than ever. At the same time, I was recruited on a DFE teacher workload committee, and the workload of teachers blew my mind. The Computers for Teachers program was actually my idea. Nothing changes. Teacher workload is even greater today. It led me to the development of Promethean, interactive whiteboards to help with the preparation and presentation. The take-up was amazing. We delivered to over 1 million classrooms. But this showed us what was really needed. What we needed was to engage the students better and help teachers. And it is this that has guided the development of Learning by Questions, my current project, LbQ. If you go to stand F160, you can see where we are up to. We have worked out what we need is the real-time, instant feedback to the students and teachers in the classroom. The slide gives you a glimpse of what we have come up with. Students get feedback for wrong answers so they can learn and answer again. Or if they answer correctly, they're moved to more difficult questions. Teachers on their tablet can see what is going on. The green is right first time. Yellow is a correct answer after a number of tries. Red is a failure to get the right answer. The teacher, by touching on their iPad any one of the questions, can see exactly the answers, and so intervene immediately. Deep knowledge of the classroom is needed to develop a good application. EdTech is more about ed than tech. Tech is the enabler, but without the ed, you are sunk. The adoption of tablets in schools are an example of this. Without a clear idea how they will be used, they can be a burden, not a benefit. They are not yet very useful in our classrooms. So, for 15 years, we have been developing the idea of real-time feedback in the classroom, giving teachers the information they need and immediate feedback to students. Perhaps we're getting there. The issue, though, is that teachers are so overworked that they do not have the time to try new things. What we need are not only little incremental ideas that will limp us forward, but some killer ideas that make a real difference. Too many little ideas disrupt. We need benefits much greater than the disruption in applying them. In many cases, this needs encouragement from government. The timescales and investment needed to develop EdTech with evidence and integrity are huge. 15 years, in my case, with Learning by Questions. So, to develop killer applications, we need to recruit education people, not technologists. Our factory monitoring systems were not developed by technologists. We, the information users, employed them. We need to realize that the timescales can be long and the investment considerable. This does not suit our present landscape, both politically and from the point of investment models. The initial introduction of computers into schools was a treasury decision that we needed to become a digital nation. And the money was made available, but without a clear idea how they could best be used. We now need to go further. Yes, the risks are large, but that is where we need encouragement from government. Interactive whiteboard adoption benefited from a group of schools who were designated for this purpose, and also a support scheme to encourage use, which got us off the ground. Investment for this sort of risk is not available, and it can only be government, or in my case, a charity, that can find it. The Education Endowment Foundation in the UK was created to test new ideas, but a lot of their work is about existing ideas and techniques. We need new killer ideas, but the EEF route takes too long. A single trial can take up to 3 years, and the ideas may not work first shot. The EdTech industry need encouragement from government. It's urgent. Trials that take years take too long, and good ideas can die on the way. We need to work backwards from the need. In our case, we worked out from our Promethean experience that the need is to use students more by providing them with information as they answer questions so that they learn, and the need to relieve teachers of question creation, analysis, and marking. We need to save teachers having to produce the data and analyze it by providing them with what they need in a usable form. Going back 50 years to my textile mill. So government need to consider tech seriously and provide money. Money to support innovation. Money to support the trials of applications to help them develop. Money to encourage teachers and schools to use successful ideas. Yes, structures are important. Yes, measurement is important. Yes, money, as I've said, is important. But what actually makes the difference, what will become more and more important, is the use of technology correctly to help teachers and improve student engagement, and also the use of that student resource to reduce the disabling burden of measurement and move us forward using a new pedagogy. Let's not beat about the bush. The area that will make the most difference is the pedagogy in the classroom. Nothing else. Everything else is almost peripheral. We need to understand that this is fundamentally an education problem, not a technology one, though technology is the enabler. It's not just technology itself, but how it's used as a blend for all the other important areas. We have found that the key need for using technology is that schools should have the equipment. It's not enough to spatter it in schools. If it is to be used, well, classes need to have it consistently available all the time. Teachers cannot cope with an on-off approach, and they do not develop the skills they will need. After all, providing a small tablet to every student in the school now costs only about 20 pence per student per school day. If we can develop that killer application, or those killer applications, this has to be of no consequences. £40 a year, 0.5 to 1.5% of school costs. What we need are the applications. However, it's chicken and egg. The hardware is not now a major cost. So it should not be beyond the bounds of possibility that every classroom has the continuous availability of a small tablet, as they once had a slate. Education in schools is a key, perhaps the key component to the improvement of the nation's knowledge and skills, the mental health of our nation, and also the health of our economy. Technology will be a key component to this end. It is thus the key to a more equal society, To me, inequality is more an issue of education than money. So we need to treat the need to make progress with the use of technology in schools with urgency. I do not see this sense of urgency. Just imagine the millions of children who aren't reaching their potential, and yet we dither about. We need to encourage the adoption of technology in schools by perhaps creating digital schools that use technology well in classrooms, where once we had technology colleges. Our strength as a nation depends on a step change improvement in the knowledge and skills of our population. The good use of in our classrooms can, dare I hope, sooner than later, will be the key. Let's get serious. Thank you.
I'm left there with my thoughts and the image of you being with someone else. Well, it's eating me up inside, but we ran our course.
Thank you so much, Tony. But before you go, we've got a question for you. Bett and EdTech have been partnering on a set of questions really to support the dialogue between industry and education. And you can find more about that if you're interested in the audience by searching the Bett website and efficacy. But the question we've got for you, Tony, and I'm really interested about this as a senior leader myself, is how does learning by questions make educators' lives easier?
Well, first of all, they're provided with the material which are really good questions. That helps them learn what to teach, right? But secondly, the questions go to the children and there's automatic feedback to the students and there's no marking. Will you leave me your email address?
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. We've had one more huge round of applause, not only for his presentation, but also for winning Innovator of the Year last night at the Bett Awards. Thank you.